today we got the cold air intake setup. I'll be showing you soon, but for now, let me show you guys what the outside temperature is. It is 75 degrees outside, and I've been sitting here at the light for like maybe 10 seconds. IAT is at like 82 degrees Fahrenheit. So let's see how fast it'll rise. So usually when I'm driving, the intake air temperature is usually hovers around between like 3 to like 6. So, but as you can see, I've been sitting at the light for a while now, and it's still at 82 degrees. It does a great job actually. Light screen now, but it's still at 82, and it hasn't changed since. So that's pretty good. It's at 80 now. I did delete the brake duct on the driver's side, and I made it into a cold air intake. So that is the setup. I'm using the stock intake, but the bottom portion of the intake, there's like two sections of the intake. You have the upper section and the bottom section. I deleted the bottom section is called the resonator, I believe. So I deleted that and just made that into a gutter hose actually. As you can see, it's 75 outside, and my IATs is now at 78. So far so good, guys. The intake, I like it. To be honest, that short ram intake, I actually ended up getting rid of it, the Takeda intake, because it actually made the car slower. I got proof of that it makes your car slower, because if you check out Revs a Lot channel, he talks about how Takeda intake made his car slower also. One thing I don't like about the Takeda intake for the 3.7 liter engines is that the piping closer to the throttle body, it gets smaller. And yeah, it's not even a 3-inch intake. It's smaller than that, so it's terrible. I love the sound of the VTEC when it turns on. When it hits VTEC, you can hear the engine. So I love that. But other than that, we gotta get faster, guys. So all right, guys, I got some flex spout. I'm gonna be using this, and I'll be showing you guys how it's gonna be. This is going to be part of the air intake. This is the setup. Got the flex spout I got from Homedepot for like $9. And this is my stock air box with the K&N air filter. Right here for the all-wheel drive TLs, I'm gonna put that air duct right there and run it up into my intake. Start, but you can kind of see it. And it connects there, and I'll be connected it through here. Through there. Should be a lot cooler now. You know, Prince Voodoo made a good point, man. When I saw his mods, he said homemade. So we about to see if this thing works. The setup is now complete. There it is. It's just basically that pipe that goes to my brake duct, and there it is. I deleted that OEM pipe that was here, or that hose, and got this one, Hi-Wow Sports. Now for this little tube right here, now P2R sells a tube for this that connects your PCV piping and routes it back into the intake. This one does not have it, so I just have like the blow-by coming out of here. But I mean, it's what I got. It's cheap. But this is the intake right here, right there, and it comes down all the way down here to the brake duct. Can't really see it, but that's where the air is basically going in. That is way too long, man. So this is the original hose, and I don't like that it's ribbed inside, and I feel like it won't give a good airflow, whereas this is just smooth. So, and plus it'll clean it up. I think this is kind of ugly. So this is PCB pipe that goes from the valve cover all the way up here, and it's supposed to route back into your intake to get burned. So I cut it already. It's supposed to be like 6 inches long. Well, you see that space right there? I don't really like that. But now a little warning, guys, if you guys live in a
area where emissions is required and they see that this is disconnected, you will fail emissions. So get you a tube that actually goes here. And also, I don't like how this hose is not the exact size for this throttle body. The throttle body is a bit smaller. This hose is 3.5 inch hose. I'm thinking the throttle body is like 3 1/4 maybe. The job is done. It looks so much better. If there's an intake leak, guys, and I spray this brake cleaner, you see how it's idling right now? If I spray this brake cleaner and the intake sucks it in, the idle's gonna change. No, nothing. Spray it on this side. Nothing. All right, sounds good. Because you know, the intake sucks in air. If brake cleaner gets in there, it's gonna idle a little funny. And let's see how long it takes for the intake to rise. So now it's 73 outside. And my IAT's at 80 now, so let's see. 82. I mean, it's eventually gonna get hot because you're not moving and constantly getting that cold air or the outside air. But other than that, it does a great job of taking in cold air. So actually, I got a brand new battery. I'd love to get a 4-inch. It's like a bigger piping 4-inch cold air intake. That would be really nice. That way I get the most gains and get the throttle body and port and polish both the intake manifold. So if you have the front wheel drive model, you're not gonna have the brake duct right there. I'm not sure what other way you guys can route it because you guys have that little strip of light right here. So that's his intake setup, guys. That's crazy. So stock intake, and they got a like a pipe coming out of the stock intake and straight through here. That's pretty badass. I'm sure you can find some kind of way, but also I had to set up one for a while now. I really like the setup. I like how I can be at the stoplight and not get heat soak. To basically do this setup, there's like a bottom portion of the intake, the stock intake, and you'd have to remove it, which goes down that where the tube goes. So you'd have to partially remove the bumper to get to it and remove the bottom portion of the intake. With this setup, it's running way better because I feel like having the Takeda short ram intake made my car slower actually. So guys, my final thoughts on this setup is I really like the setup for now for a stock intake because the resonator, the bottom portion of the stock intake, it's so restrictive. Even though it sucks up air right here around this area and it's a cold air intake, it's a good intake for a start, but I feel like the performance is decreased because it's just so restrictive. Whereas basically as the faster you go, the more air is gonna flow into the engine with the cold air intake setup that I have. And I feel like it's gonna increase performance. Now also, I believe the piping that I got, I think it's like 4.5 inch because it's actually bigger than the bottom portion of this piping of the intake. So that's hence why I put a clamp around it. It actually works pretty well. Now, only thing that worries me sometimes, or you may want to be careful with, is puddles of water, because the intake now is down here, whereas it was up here. I am more prone to sucking up water, which could possibly hydro lock the engine and the engine will get destroyed. So just got to be real careful, but I'm glad I got a daily now. I really like the setup because I believe it increases performance, because the engines is basically like a big air pump. It sucks as much air in, and then fuel and spark, and then you got explosion and the wheels turn. I believe the more air you get into the engine, the better. Well, let me close up the video, guys. But thank you guys for watching. Like the video if you like it, and don't forget to comment down below and subscribe if you haven't subscribed, guys. All right, take it easy.